Hey y'all, hey, welcome to Tootie Talk Sense. Come on in and like the video as y'all get up in here. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, go ahead, hit subscribe, hit all so you can see every time that I go live or drop a video. Now, come on, y'all, let's discuss.
Straight from the shy, spitting truth, no halt. 2D talk sense, keep the culture on vault. Politics, humor, mix it raw in the stew. Breaking down the news like she's slicing a cube. Come on, y'all, let's discuss, that's the frame. Dropping hitters, 2D's putting lames to shame. Hilarious for real, got the nation on the buzz. Got them tuning in like they addicted to the love. She the queen of the trends, no fake, no frauds. Unpacking every topic, flipping all the odds. From city lights sparking to the Capitol walls. 2D got the mic, they just stalling in the hall. She a vibe, make Chicago proud on the route. Windy City wit, knocking all the clout out. Raw but so rich, intellect on the brim. Swimming through the chaos, never decrease the dim. Come on, y'all, let's discuss, that's the frame. Breaking it down, keep it sharp like a blade. Hilarious for real, got the nation on the buzz. 2D talk sense, spreading heat like the sun. Kanye level antics, nah, she's supreme. Stitching words together like a courtroom dream. Politics on canvas, brush strokes vivid. 2D's broad vision turning limits to liquid.
Now, of course, we're going to be talking about P. Diddy trial and what have happened since Friday up until today. So Friday, they were supposed to narrow it down, the jurors down to the 45 people. They end up having 45, but had to excuse 2 people. So then they had 43. So today, Monday, they end up narrowing it down to the 18 jurors that they needed. And then they went into the opening statements. So I already talked about the opening statements. Now, what have happened since I talked about the opening statements? People who was there at the trial have came out and said what happened because they had 2 witnesses today, y'all. So it was the security guard who was there at the hotel with the hotel video of him dragging Cassie, and then it was one of the workers, one of the freak off workers, right? So pretty much, I'm gonna sum it up because I'm gonna try to remember everything off the top of my head. So first was this security guard. He's a police officer now. So he said he got a call that there was a disturbance on the floor. So he took the elevator on the floor that P. Diddy was on. He took the elevator up and he seen them out in the hallway. He told them to come in the room. He said that, he asked Cassie on multiple times, did she want to leave? And she said no. Cassie had a black eye. Different people reported that he said there was another male there. Now, the reason why this is important, because the prosecutors are putting this as this is evidence that she was forced to do the freak offs, because the video showed her trying to leave out the room, P. Diddy running down there in his towel, and everybody initially saw this video. I don't know about y'all, but I'm like, okay, he must have got in the shower or, had finished a freak off and was asleep. And he woke up, realized that, she was gone, or came out the shower and realized that she was gone. But no, what it's seeming like is that it was a freak off going on. This is what the prosecutor are alluding to, that she tried to get away because she didn't want to do the freak off. And him dragging her back shows that this is part of the kidnapping and the forced sex, because he's dragged her in the room to make her go and do that freak off that she was running from and didn't want to do. So that was the security testimony. He also said that P. Diddy came in and gave him threw a wad of cash at him, but he declined to take the cash. He said he did not file a police report, and the I want to say they asked why. I can't remember, was it the defense or the prosecutors, but they asked him why. And he was like, there was nothing to file a police report about because there was no victim. Because Cassie was saying that, she didn't want to call the police. All she wanted to do was leave, is what she was telling the security guard at that time. I just want to leave. That she didn't want to get police involved. She just wanted to leave. So that's why he said he did not file a police report. So this also goes into domestic abuse victims, that a lot of times that is what happens. They do not want to file a police report on their abuser because of either the emotional connection that they have with them, where they don't want to get that person in trouble, but they do want to get away to feel safe. They don't want to be there because they don't feel safe, but yet they don't want to get the person in trouble. Because a lot of domestic abuse go unreported. So this could be the situation there. Now, as I had previously told y'all, the prosecutor is saying that he may be a freaky, but he's a fan, but he's not doing anything illegal. Cassie is just like an ex-girlfriend who's out for the money. I want to say this is new that I haven't reported this. So far, they are saying it's a total of 5 victims. Now, that's not saying it's 5 witnesses. There's 5 victims. And of course, Cassie is victim number 1. Victim number 3 is the one that's missing. Victim number 2, they talked about in the opening statements, and they were saying people are thinking that that's Clarissa. No, is that her name, y'all? Young Miami. People are thinking, yeah, because Carissa Police. So, yeah, people are thinking that that's her victim too, because it said they met in 2020. It's recent. It's a recent person. And she wanted a relationship with him, but he didn't want a relationship with her. And they said she was a single mom. So people are thinking that that's Carissa, but it could be just some other person because, as we see from these lawsuits, he had a history of not keeping it to one person. He spread that thing on around. Now, this is the explicit part, okay? So you go ahead, cover your ears, get the kids about the room, because this next part, baby, he's a freaking motherfucker. Yeah, so when the technically sex worker, but I believe his official title was a dancer, he testified. Now, he was saying that when he first met Cassie, he was going to an appointment where she came out in this red wig and was like, do you mind if my husband watch? And he said the husband wanted them to put baby oil on each other, all over each other. And then, we're just going to see where it goes from there. So he said P. Diddy was over there in a robe with like a bandana on his face, but he knew it was P. Diddy because his mouth wasn't closed. He didn't say that. He didn't say that. He said he knew it was P. Diddy because of the voice and everything, that he knew that was P. Diddy. But he had a bandana on his face. So he said there was multiple times that he was hired, and sometimes it was 700, sometimes it was nothing, sometimes it was thousands of dollars. Now, he said P. Diddy stayed over in a corner and pleasured himself while he was pleasuring Cassie. Now, I said in the last video that I believe P. Diddy is what you call a chucko. He likes to watch. And the more I listen to this, I said he may be one of the ones that get off on embarrassment, because this part right here, the worker says that P. Diddy didn't want him to use protection while satisfying Cassie, right? And he said at this one particular time he couldn't finish because P. Diddy was over there like, yeah, don't finish yet. Don't finish yet. Like he was ad-libbing like he was in a song. Take that, take that. Like he was over there and it was throwing dude off and he was like he couldn't really finish. So he faked like he finished. So then he's as soon as he would, act like he finished, or when he faked like he finished, Cassie got up, her and P. Diddy went in the bedroom. So then they come back out like, mm, did you finish for real? So it has been alluded that they think that P. Diddy was trying to and was nothing coming out. So that's how he like, wait, did you finish for real? Because ain't nothing even coming out when I'm down there sucking. That ain't what he said. But what he said was that they went in the room and knew that he didn't finish. So what they in there digging around for? Use your imagination. Because yeah. Then there was a whole golden shower situation, where she asked him to, you know, do the golden shower in her mouth. Let me see, what else was it? Trying to think of everything. I know I should have wrote it down to take notes. And my mouth was open. Then I hurry up and closed it because just hearing this stuff, I was afraid somebody may try to. Mm. So let me think. What else did he say? He said that P. Diddy was not. He does not feel like P. Diddy is into men because nothing happened as far as like him and P. Diddy. It was whole P. Diddy watching, which made me feel like he may be one of the ones who get off on humiliation. Like, but especially like you want him to finish in your girl, but then y'all go in the room and do whatever with what he finished with. And I'm like, that may be whole mutilation that you setting up there watching because they, according to Cassie lawsuit, he liked them big and black. He wanted her with somebody that big and black that you can need to use two hands to hold on to it. Um, and they got into the white fingernails and now mind you, also his mom was there and 7 of 6 of his kids was there. And what's crazy to me is that the twins was there. And if I'm not mistaken, his twin girls with Kim, them twins just turned 18. And I'm like, we all know what this trial is about. I don't know why you would have your kids there, especially your girls who just turned 18. Now, to me, is not a good look. I know the thing would want to be that he has his family support, but they could have made a Facebook post that said he's have his family support. Because to me, it would more show that you put what's best for you over what's best for your kids, and that's not a good look for what you got. It's already like you this egotistical, power driven man. So then on top of that, you go it's because it looks good to have your family support than protecting your kids from having to hear all this freaky shit that their daddy done did that they probably having nightmares about now tonight. I was like, that was crazy. Some people reported that the twins did get up and leave during the sex worker testimony, that they get up and left. I said I would head to two because now I don't want them cum lips kissing me. Have a good day, baby. Enjoy your day, daughter. No, no, I'm finna get pregnant from your daddy kissing you. Like, make you look at your dad a whole nother different way. But also, they gave out the list of jurors that's on there. I know there was one lady that was like 72. I believe it's more men. It's 8 men and 4 women. And one of the women I want to say is like 72. Some of the men are maybe in their 60s. They said it's like a good mix, 60s, 30s. Um, and the 72-year-old woman. And they have some people who's like career people, and they have some people who just, you know, working regular, maybe retail or something like that. So they have a good mix of people. I said, to me, this trial would more come down to how these people view domestic violence and how they view women. Because right now they are pretty much, I think there's going to be, if I'm not mistaken, of the 5 victims, I already said Cassie, the number 3 is missing. People are thinking number 2 is Young Miami, but that's not confirmed. That's just what people are throwing out there to try to figure out who number 2 is. And one is a male who worked with him. So, and I don't know who number 4 is, y'all. So, they are putting it, the talk is that these are bitter people. So it could be like a man against women and how men view domestic violence. And I know that they said they didn't try to pick people who are younger, because younger people will more understand these freak offs, and will more lean and may more lean towards a not just a fan. He's freaky and non and feel like nothing illegal happened. So he ended up with a good mix. And I said to 72 y'all already feel like how y'all already know how I feel about the older generation, who's to me more likely to blame the women and will take the man's side, whether it's a man or a woman. And some men back then, y'all done seen Tina Turner, y'all done seen all these movies where the man back then had no problem with slapping a bitch. Okay. Uh if she get out of line, you got to put her back in line. What color purple say? Beat her. Beat her. So you might have a couple of men on there who's in that 60 age range who may believe that. Now, not all of them, because not everybody was bad. We all know that. Not everybody is bad. Not everybody fall into those categories. But to me, it's going to come more down to who's more believable in those situations, or what the jurors then been through, and who they feel like they rely. Because even though as a juror you're supposed to take your opinions and just base it on the facts, I feel like a lot of cases, especially when it comes down to the police or this black and white killing unarmed black people, that's because the juror identifies more with the abuser or with the person who did the crime, that they could identify as a white person seeing a black person jogging in a neighborhood that they feel like he don't belong in, and well, I would follow him too. Or a kid walking in a neighborhood that you feel like he don't belong in, and you following him as a grown man to go get some Skittles, to go buy some candy and then walk back home, and you follow him in a dark home and then try to approach him and get your ass whooped, and then you end up shooting him. They'll be like, well, that was his neighborhood and he didn't know that kid. So I would have followed him too. Like it's not always about the evidence and what's right or wrong. Sometimes it's about that fucked up juror. So I honestly don't know how this gonna play out. And so if you're watching, no, I am not one of those ones who believe that P. Diddy didn't do this stuff. I believe he did it. Do I believe he did everything as far as all these 70 civil lawsuits? No. But I believe two things could be true. That he did this shit. That in this criminal case, that he was abusive, that maybe Cassie did start off wanting to please him, so she agreed to do the freak off, but at a time where he became controlling and abusive, she didn't want to do it anymore. But she didn't have any choice by that point. So I believe there was times that she didn't want to do it, but was made to do it. That's just my personal belief. So I believe two things can be true. I believe some people are just suing for the money. But this is not a civil case. This is a criminal case. And this is supposed to be what they have evidence to prove. So I heard a couple of lawyers say that it's odd about this racketeering charge that he has, because he's the only one on trial. In most racketeering RICO cases, it's multiple people on trial. It's just not one person. So I'm thinking that either maybe some of these other people are going to be witnesses for the prosecutor, and maybe that's not why, and maybe that's why they're not on trial. But as far as everybody have uh, talked about, there's no deal that's been made with anybody else, and there's doesn't look like anybody else is going to get charged, which is weird. So that racketeering charge, I'm not sure if that one's going to stick. This other stuff, just from this first testimony, look like P Diddy may have some problem. Because let me go back to what the sex worker was saying. He also said that there was a time where P Diddy had beat up Cassie while he was there, and he didn't intervene. And he said she was over there crying, and he went over there like to comfort her and everything. This was the time, because one time he couldn't, the time he couldn't get it up because P Diddy was over there like doing instructions and stuff, like he moving, telling movers where to put furniture. Nah, don't do that. Don't come yet. Don't come yet. And it distracted him. So somehow P Diddy and Cassie got into it. He ended up flinging her, pulling her down the hall. She's crying. He comfort her. Then they, I guess start making out. He was able to get it back up. They get in, they get to have being intimate. P Diddy sneak on back up in the room, and he see P Diddy sneak in the room or whatever. So you do have instance where you see the abuse, and you, because the abuse happened and then the sex happened, the freak off happens, that you're like, oh, well, that would go more with her case in some instance. Some instance, when with what I just explained, with her and the guy get intimate because she crying and he comforting her, I think that instant may go more for P. as far as saying that she wasn't forced because he wasn't in the room when they started, but he sneaks in the room while they doing it. So that may fall more on P. Diddy. Now there is an instance I want to say that I don't know what witness number this is going to be, but there's also an ex of his that alleges that he made her do the freak off and gave her medicine and drugs, and she threw up, and he got mad at her for throwing up, but still made her go clean that shit up and made her continue. So you have that. Now I don't know what evidence we're gonna have to collaborate this. They are saying that there are videotapes, and I'm like, God, please don't let those like 18-year-olds be there for the videotape. I hope they don't come back and don't too much watch. You can talk to your daddy, you can support your daddy, call him over the phone. But to sit there for this, to me, that's too much trauma. But they said there are going to be videotapes. I said, not the 72-year-old gonna sit here and watch these videotapes. But you don't know people like that 72-year-old probably watch more porn than me and you could bad, baby. I said, baby, that's gonna be awkward sitting at there watching the videotape, and then when they get to go and dismiss the jurors for lunch or something, if you see them men putting a notebook in front of them, excuse them, because kick them on off the jury. They didn't get happy, they didn't get excited, and they gonna vote for P Diddy. They gonna vote not guilty. Because they said the videotapes, they asked the sex worker, did P. Diddy ever give him drugs? And he was like, yeah, Cialis, what you know is like a form of like almost Viagra. It's erectile dysfunction medicine. And he said Cialis and I don't know, was it Molly or Coke or something? It was some type of other drug that he gave him. So they said in his video, ecstasy. That's what it was. So they said in the freak off video, you will see that Cassidy has a black eye in one of them, and you can tell that the girls are like high on ecstasy. Now, the defense team said it was just sex, drugs, and rock and roll. That's all it was. It was nothing illegal. Everybody was consensual, and you will see from them takes they in there having a jolly good time. And the defense team describes it as threesomes. And I said, to me, that makes more sense. Not that it was consensual threesomes. It makes more sense than all the jokes is pretty much like it's a big orgy. I believe I had described it as a big orgy because everybody who was associated with P Diddy, even TD Jakes, then took strays because from messing around from being at these parties. But it does sound like from Cassie lawsuit because every time she described the freak off, it's her, the dude, in P Diddy. So it sounds like, well, now the other lawsuits is something different. Them 70 lawsuits, baby, everything didn't happen up in there. But from Cassie lawsuit, it does sounds like it was three of them. It was her, P Diddy, and then the freak off guy. It's also one where they said Cassie and P Diddy, he was hitting in front of the back. She was sucking the other guy off. And P. Diddy had a thing about them not looking at him. So he get mad at the guy telling him not to look at him because I guess he don't want to be misconstrued as being gay. You know, I hear some guys that do that. They'll put the girl in the middle. That way it gives them excuses like it wasn't me and a guy. It was a girl there. But it said P. Diddy would, even the first guy who testified, he said P. Diddy will be in that corner. Don't look at me. I said that's another thing that makes me be like he may get a fetish on embarrassment. Like being embarrassed may, shameful may get him off and may pleasure him. But they said that, he was sitting in front and back. She was sucking another guy off. P. Diddy get into it with the guy, telling him not to look at him. Said Cassie ran away and go cried and like ran in the corner like she was scared. And then she wouldn't come back until the situation like died down and and voices was calm and everything before before she came back. And to me, that does more go into her side, that she was scared of him, that she was doing this by force, that she didn't want to do it, but she was scared of what would happen if she didn't do it. What else, y'all? Because that was a lot. What do y'all feel so far with everything that you just heard right now with these two testimonies? Because baby, there's a lot, and that was only day one. Do y'all think that his kids should be there? Y'all know that his mama was there, and if I'm not, yeah, I did a video on it about his mom because there was also a report saying that this all started from his mom. That somebody who grew up with him said that it was nothing at P. Diddy house because his mom, kind of like a pimp, would have like these big orgy parties. So it was nothing to walk in a room in P. Diddy house and see people having freak offs. That was nothing. I said, I'm like, if that's true, this may be the start of where he get that watching from. Because if that happened in any room, I ain't no telling how many doors as a little kid that he will open and look at and watch, and then probably got yelled at and everything, get embarrassed, talked about for him being nasty so young, looking at that stuff happen. His mom probably like, get your little nasty, what they call it, mannish. Get your little mannish ass from out of him, blah, blah, blah. And the shame of all that. So maybe, because I don't know if somebody said that the mama had on white nails today or not. Because, and I don't even know if that's true. Because, people say stuff in their video that be like just for shits and giggles. But I'm like, maybe if this is true, this is probably the start of where P. Diddy get all this stuff from. If this story is true about his mama. So let me think what else that happened. Let's see what else. There's some people who's doing the video of the P Diddy stuff, and I'm just not. I'm just not interested. I have tried to watch a couple of people things, and There was one who was out there just at the courthouse and just went live out there at the courthouse and I tried to watch two different people, and one of them is big name. I'm not gonna say the name, but they were talking about like who they got to meet and blah blah blah. And I'm like, if you don't get to this fucking story and tell me what happened up here at court today, I don't want to know about who you got to meet and and what other YouTuber was there and what TV personality and everything. I want to know what happened at court following, that the twins had came out. One of them, the twins had came out, and they out there waiting for the twin and walking down the street filming the twin. If you don't get that camera out them little 18-year-old girl, so maybe because I got kids and I got little girls, that's that age that I'm like, come on now. Get to the story. Leave his kids alone. Worry about what this nigga done did. Tell me what he done did. Well, what they said that he done did or allegedly done did. However you want to phrase. But I don't want to hear about this other shit that ain't got nothing to do with nothing. Now, the one thing that I did find funny, I tell you, I watch Mims. He's the one who actually ended up not that long because he's there, but he said he's not going to be there the entire trial. But I did like his coverage of it because he came in, wrote down his notes and got to exactly what happened. The one thing that he said that I was like is interesting, a detail that it's not the case, but you just like, what? That the people and it was some like YouTubers or reporters or whatever they want to call yourself that was there at the trial, that he was like, if they were so immature and you could tell that they ain't fucking, because every time that anything sexual came up, they would giggle. And I'm looking like, okay, y'all know I can find a joke up in everything. But I ain't gonna be laughing in no courthouse because first of all, I ain't figured the rest. That's first and foremost. Secondly, if y'all there and half of people ain't from New York, you didn't travel to be there. You just spent your money. What if they then ban you? Because I remember with the Tory Lanez thing, that some YouTubers got banned and weren't even allowed back up in there. What is you giggling? Y'all knew what was finna happen. Y'all seen on the news how much baby oil he had. Y'all seen what was in Cassie lawsuit. So what go by you, the one who was up there. You should have followed him after court and asked if he's still working, because speaking of Tory Lanez, y'all, let's move on. Drop down in comments. Let me know what y'all felt about the story, this updating it. How y'all think the trial, the case is going. Who did you think was more favorable? Who did you think they went to? The prosecutor or the defense? Because I want to say, what else happened with with the defense and the prosecutor? The opening statement was both done by women. Of course, because the prosecution team, I want to say 6 white women is what is being reported as, and 1 male. And P. Diddy team is 3 white women, 1 black woman, a black man, and then the rest, like three or 4 white men. But there's 2 women is the one who gave the opening statement for both sides. And let me see. I think that's about it of the summary. I hope I got it all. If not, I'll be back tomorrow to summarize day 2. And whatever I forgot for day 1, I'll try to put it up in there. But y'all let me know. How do y'all feel day 1 went? Do you think right now is a clear leader? Do right now is your mind stone set on what y'all believe, whether he guilty on all charges or what charges you believe he is guilty of? Now, let's move on to the next criminal. Um and I don't have to say allegedly, the Tory Lanez was convicted and he in jail. So there was breaking news today that he got stabbed. Yeah, he got a little shanked up over on the yard, y'all. So y'all, he got sentenced for 10 years for discharging a firearm at Megan Thee Stallion. Now, they said today he was out in the yard and there was an altercation and he ended up getting stabbed and he was rushed to the hospital. So I haven't seen an update from that, but That's what they saying, y'all. That Tory Lanez is in the hospital from getting stabbed up in the jail yard, y'all. Now, there was also something else I wanted to talk to y'all about. It was the politics that we're gonna do real quick. Like, oh, it was bleach bum. What was it? Bleach bum built butch body here? Bleach bum butch body.
Somebody's bleach blonde, bad built butch body. Somebody's bleach blonde, bad built butch body.
A what now?
Bleach blonde, bad built butch body. Somebody's baby girl. Bleach blonde, bad built butch body.
Did y'all see Marjorie Taylor Greene? And I told y'all they had that Doge hearing about trans athletes, which was absolutely nuts to me because it's of the roughly they're estimating 500,000 college athletes, 10 of them are trans. So they had this Doge hearing, and Doge is supposed to be saving money. Has y'all having this hearing that I'm quite sure cost about 10 athletes? I know injustice everywhere. I mean, injustice anywhere is injustice everywhere. But Doge, this supposed to be your whole job. You can add something else in there. You know what I'm saying? Besides this trans athlete to make it more of a reason to spend his money for this hearing. So Marjorie Taylor, it was hilarious how she was busted because she had a picture up here of the guy, and this is I want to say he's the head of the fencing division.
Here displayed behind me is the post that Mr. Lefelt put up. Mr. Lefelt came in here today.
So as you can see in there, she's showing us and she didn't crop this photo to make it seem like this guy is throwing up the middle finger when on this post that he made on the day of the hearing said game day, and the title was game day. Y'all watch this. What this is hilarious.
Saying that this is game day.
One moment, a point of order, please, Madam Chair.
You're not. Okay,
Madam Chair, I have a point of order. The document that you have up behind you is a misrepresentation of the actual post. It appears that you're trying to misrepresent a witness.
Gatto showed the actual thing, and you see Miss Stansberry laughing because the actual picture is the man holding up the peace sign, but she didn't crop out one of the fingers, right? So it looks like the picture where he's holding up the peace sign, she didn't crop that out right there. So the picture looks like that but it's actually him doing this, yeah.
Stansberry, this is not a point of order.
And she was so busted. She laughed her
You are
dog on.
misrepresenting the witnesses. You are misrepresenting policy. You are misrepresenting.
Miss Stansberry, you're not recognized. Did you feel you were in a safe environment, free from abuse when you were told you must compete against a man? Here, you are not. This is not a point of order, Miss Stansberry. This is not a point of order.
What this committee does. You are misrepresenting the witnesses. You are misrepresenting policy.
Look, right there. She turned her head, and Marjorie is laughing because she know her ass is busted.
You are misrepresenting.
Miss Stansberry, you're not recognized. Did you feel you were in a
Then she put that picture up there.
Here displayed behind me is the post.
That's hilarious. So also I had reported on the executive order of Donald Trump paying for the white Africans to come here to farm, right? And I said, that is crazy because you see so many Trumpers, these white Trumpers, American citizens, who's saying how much money they lost from Donald Trump and one of his executive orders just stopped the USID food because it gave them money, the food that the US sent over to other countries to feed the hungry and things that comes for farmers here. So many farmers, the white, the ones I seen was white farmers, had lost so much money when Donald Trump did this. But he's sending over to South Africa and when white Africans only, because he said they've been discriminated against. And he's paying for them to come over here to be farmers.
Today, nearly 60 white South Africans were admitted into the United States. It's part of President Donald Trump's resettlement program for white Afrikaners, largely descendants of Dutch and French colonial settlers in South Africa. Afrikaners also led the racist apartheid government there until it ended in 1994. Today, the White House alleges that a new South African law, which redistributes unused land to the state, is racist, and that the white minority is being persecuted by the black-led government. President Trump even halted all aid to South Africa back in February. Applications from these white families were fast-tracked by the administration, even as it suspended the U.S. refugee resettlement program, leaving thousands of approved refugees worldwide stranded. Joining us now is Bill Freilich, the head of the Refugee and Migrant Rights Division at Human Rights Watch. Bill, welcome to the NewsHour.
Good to be here.
So President Trump was asked about the classification of these families as refugees. Here's what he had to say about conditions in South Africa.
It's a genocide that's taking place that you people don't want to write about, but it's a terrible thing that's taking place. And farmers are being killed. They happen to be white, are being brutally killed, and their land is being confiscated in South Africa.
White farmers being brutally killed, their land being confiscated. What do you make of these allegations of white genocide, as the president has said, as we know Elon Musk has said before, and the classification of these families as refugees?
A lie detector test determined that was a lie.
Well, this is not factually supported from any of the information that we've seen. The expropriation law that you mentioned only came into effect in January, and it is stated that it is for non-compensation for private land that would go into public hands if that land has been unused, if there's nobody living and working on that land or developing it. And so far, of course, none of that land has actually been taken. So there have been homicide rates that are high rates in South Africa. I think it was like 13,000 in 2023, but only single digits were farmers that were killed. Now, you don't want anyone to be killed, and I don't want to disparage any one person's story, but we don't have the phenomenon of people fleeing the country as we do with refugees all over the world. About 38 million refugees in the world who, by definition, are people who've crossed an international border because they're fleeing persecution, they're fleeing war, they're fleeing conflict. And there are no Afrikaner refugee camps. The UN High Commissioner for Refugees didn't refer any South Africans of any background, of any race, of any language for resettlement in the last year. So this is something really new and different from anything.
I said, I thought you said those was black jobs. How you gonna send the Mexican away because you said they over here taking these black jobs, but then you gonna go get some white Africans to come over here and take is those still black jobs? Are they white jobs now? Who jobs is these white Africans finna come over here and take? Because it seems like they're finna take you white MAGA in the red states job. Y'all better go ahead and do something, protest, do something. But you can't because it's probably an executive order that's outlawing protests to follow by the executive order that he gave to unleash the police that's going to pay for pro bono lawyers. So if you do protest, then and they do something to unalive you, they got lawyers to pay for it anyway. And he wanted them to have qualified immunity. So, I mean, hey, this is what you paid for. I mean, this is what you voted for. Is y'all having fun out there? How that vote do you? I'm asking for a friend.
The families who arrived today were approved in a few months' time. We understand they were flown over on a State Department chartered flight. Is that the usual process for refugee resettlement?
No, I mean, you often have refugees that have spent years and years in refugee camps, and then out of the millions of refugees in the world, less than 1% are ever even referred for third country resettlement. They have exhaustive vetting, security screening, health screening, screening to make sure that they actually do have a well-founded fear of being persecuted. And they usually are people that have great difficulties in the country of first asylum. They're people that have difficulties in the refugee camps in which they're living. Maybe they're being persecuted in the country of first arrival as well. So these are circumstances that you would assess on a case-by-case basis, and that takes a long period of time to do. This was done in 3 months. And these are people that came directly from their country of origin. They were not people that were living in refugee camps. They were not people that were vetted by the UN Refugee Agency or referred to the United States in the normal way. And they were flown here in chartered planes paid for directly by the US. Usually it's the International Organization for Migration that does travel loans that refugees are expected to pay back actually upon arrival.
Yeah, I think that's all today. I will be back tomorrow to report on day 2 and see what else is coming up out this trial, okay? Because it seems like it's the trial of the century. Y'all finna go sleep, okay? Y'all have a good night. I will see y'all tomorrow. Bye.